Hey Larry, I have a question for you. What is your opinion on funding the National Space Program and space exploration itself? I do not like the idea of billions of the taxpayers' dollars going to research that is not very helpful. I am against funding the space program completely. Recently there has been no new knowledge or information from it. Listen here Larry, funding for space exploration is essential for human and technological advancement. For example, the Hubble telescope lets us see extremely far into our universe and the galaxy that we live in. The government spends too much money on funding the space program. Plus, look at all the disasters and accidents they have had. The space shuttles Challenger and Columbia both disintegrated, costing everyone on board their lives. Another thing that bothers me is the so-called research that goes on in the International Space Station uses 3/4 of the money that NASA gets. Space exploration is risky of course, but look what massive advancements have come from it. Laser surgeries, body imaging, infrared technology, cordless appliances and satellite TV are just few of the things we take for granted that are due to the fact that we have funding for space research. I cannot believe how ignorant you are acting right now. You are making me very angry. Why waste so much money on exploring space when we should be exploring where we live? 95% of the Earth's oceans have not yet been discovered or looked into. Imagine all the things we could learn by exploring resources we have here on Earth. The main thing that annoys me is the cost. Our national debt is in trillions and continues to rise. We should not be wasting our money on funding the space program. Leave that to rich individuals and private companies. The government only uses 1% of its budget on space exploration funding. 1%. Out of all the money the nation has to spend a year, that's all they give. Leaving it up to private individuals or companies would never be an ideal way to pursue this. Imagine a world with no global communication. Thanks to NASA and space funding we have that. The International Space Station is also a great way to maintain national diplomacy by working together with other nations to research and study in space. Okay, now, you listen to me. There is no diplomacy created through the International Space Station. It is a waste of money and ultimately will lead to flag staking and separation of international space programs. Few missions have returned with the amount of evidence and information that NASA said they should have. Another interesting point is that 60% of Americans are against an exploration of Mars or any other planets. Ever been on an airplane, Larry? Thanks to space research, if there ever happens to be a situation where your plane is struck by lightning, it is absorbed and nothing happens. It is technology like this that we need space research for. You can also thank space research for placing satellites high up in space that allow for television, cell phones and the internet. People don't know a lot about some of these facts, but if they were informed they would have no problem with the government giving the space program money. You are right that the space program has helped in some very important ways, however, recently it has had no advancement and research and information are not being collected as well anymore. This is not the time to be exploring and researching in space. Our nation is at war and we have a lot of debt to take care of before we can worry about space exploration. Maybe in a few years when our nation gets things back to normal and has money to spend, we can worry about this. Plus the risk is too high. No, Larry, the time is now. I know that you are against the high cost of funding this program and the risk is very great, but you have to believe that research is coming and will help us advance in many ways. Think about it deeply for a while and then you will understand how important this is. Now that I think about it, you do have a point, but I will have to really consider the options and do my research before I talk about this again. It was nice talking to you. Bye now. Nice talking to you, Larry. I will see you around.